With the extra point, this is Erik McKinney, joined by Greg Katz. Greg, Alijah Vera-Tucker, USC's offensive lineman, he announced he's going to opt out of whatever the 2020-2021 season might be and declare for that 2021 NFL draft. He joins defensive lineman Jay Tufele from USC in making that decision. What does this do to USC's offensive line, losing a guy like Vera-Tucker?
Well, I think we could all agree it certainly was anticipated, especially after Jay Tufele left. So it's not like this is the end of the world in terms of is he going or is he not going? He went. We all knew that. But what it does do is a giant spotlight now is on the Trojan offensive line and offense. And let me explain just briefly. You know, for the last 2-3 years, we've had some real questions about the offensive line recruiting. And, you know, in a lot of ways, SC's offensive line is been like a basketball team that would have maybe an all-conference center surrounded by 4 guys that aren't good shooters, but they're just capable. Example, last year you had, you know, Austin Jackson, who turns out to be a mid-round, first-round draft pick. So he's kind of like your center on the basketball team, except Alijah Vera-Tucker, some believe, and it probably is true, that he was the best lineman on the team to begin with. Okay, so now in the space of several months, you've taken your 2 best offensive linemen, and you're left with, quite frankly, a lot of 3-star recruits, and maybe you can toss in a 4-star here, whatever. But I think we would all agree, for those of us that follow the team closely and those that are fans that follow it closely, that this is not a recipe for winning conference, let alone national championships, okay? And it's going to really put a lot of pressure, also based on the scheme that they run, pass protection. I don't want to use the word trouble. I'm just going to say that they're seriously challenged at this point.
It opens up a massive hole at left tackle where you expected Vera-Tucker to slide outside and replace Austin Jackson. And right now it is all about development. Yes, that there is the opportunity to go into the transfer portal, and with the thought coming up here that first-time transfers won't have to sit out a season, that makes it easier maybe to go get a transfer. But if you look at that roster right now, that development is a major question. USC signed 6 offensive linemen in the 2020 class. They'll have at least 3 players committed right now in the 2021 class. That's a lot of bodies coming in. You've got a guy in Jalen McKenzie who played a lot of right guard. He's played some right tackle. Does he get a look over at the other side? Jason Rodriguez, a redshirt freshman, he was certainly expected to kind of jump up in that 2 deep a little bit and give you some time. Does he go ahead and get a look out at left tackle? But you really don't have, 4 or 5 guys that you can look at out there on the left side to replace this. So now when you talk about that 2020 class, if USC doesn't play this fall, they sort of get that kind of extended redshirt year, I guess. That they've got maybe a full season if you wait until next fall, full season to really get ready. So you're looking at maybe the 2 guys on top, Jonah Monheim and then Cortland Ford, a guy who, if fully healthy, he looks like maybe a guy who's not that 3-star recruit that he came in, and he kind of gives you everything that you want there, and potentially a left tackle, and him getting that extra time. Maybe he's the next guy, but all of a sudden it's just, again, like you said, expected that he left, but wham. I mean, that sort of hits you when you lose Austin Jackson and Alijah Vera-Tucker, 2 of the better, I think, potential left tackles that USC has had in a while. Again, Austin Jackson already became a first-round pick. Alijah Vera-Tucker potentially a first-round pick maybe in this draft coming up. So I don't think when you ended that 2019 season, the idea of taking the field the next time without Austin Jackson and Alijah Vera-Tucker is not what offensive line coach Tim Drefno had in mind. So that there are some answers that USC needs to find and really needs to start figuring out right now in terms of developing some of these 3-star guys, and like you mentioned, a couple 4-star offensive linemen. So I think there are question marks now, maybe at a couple spots along that line, depending on how things shake out.